5 Spurs finish in double figures tonight. Good second half for Steph Castle. 17 of his 23 in the second 24 minutes, but too much Luka Doncic to the Lakers tonight. 125-109 the final as the Lakers come away with the win, and they win the season series from the Spurs 3-1. We continue. Spurs Live here on FanDuel Sports Network. Dan Weiss with you. And the Lakers behind 30 from Austin Reeves and a near triple-double from Luka Doncic. Able to take this one as we send it back to the two gentlemen who called tonight's game. Upstairs, Jacob Toby, Sean Elliott. Guys.
Dan, thank you very much. Kind of talked about it all throughout the telecast. Just a lot of open shots tonight.
Yeah.
The Lakers, they felt really, really comfortable.
Well, that was due to Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves just being extremely creative and finding their teammates on the perimeter. 51 points between those two guys, 20 assists. So that shows you their impact on the game. And like I said, on our keys to victory, Luka's going to get it going. We kind of kept him in check tonight, but when you have another guy like Austin Reeves who goes absolutely crazy on you, then it's going to be difficult to win. So Austin Reeves, give him a lot of credit tonight. Luka didn't shoot the ball very well, but again, his passing ability just opened up the floor for his teammates, and Austin Reeves was just incredibly creative pretty much the entire night. Now, he got a lot of wide open looks. That was a great cut there for an easy backdoor layup, a little reverse. But when you look at what they brought to the game statistically, that's pretty hard to overcome.
Luka scored or assisted on 87 Laker points.
That's what I'm telling you, and that's absolutely amazing. When those two guys,
Luka and Reeves,
those two guys provide that much offense, it's easy for the rest of the guys out there on the floor. We saw the rest of the guys, their teammates getting wide open shots because they were just feeding off those two.
On the other side for the Spurs, you saw Steph Castle, those 3 early fouls in the first quarter really hurt him. But then in the second half, he was just attacking. It looked like he didn't remember what happened in that first half.
Exactly. And that is so hard to do. I've been in that situation before where you pick up a lot of early fouls in the game. It takes you out of your rhythm. You have a different type of mindset when you hit the floor. But this young man, he's mentally tough.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. To come back from those early fouls, some of the missed shots that didn't fall for him, and to come back and have that type of performance, really remarkable, again, for a guy, and I've said it before, that plays beyond his years.
For him, what's the next step? He learns that? Just kind of a check off the box, or what else?
He just continues to get better and better, and his teammates continue to trust in him more and more, because I think that his teammates see the writing on the wall. The guys have talked about it, about his progress this year, going far and beyond what they thought he would be, and they can tell. I mean, the guys in that locker room know when they see him out there on the floor what kind of player he's going to be.
All right, excited to get back home to San Antonio where the Spurs and the Knicks will face off on Wednesday. Dan, a lot has changed since Christmas Day when those two teams faced off last. We'll send it back to you.
Yeah, no Jalen Brunson, that's for sure, as he's still dealing with that injury. So we'll see what the Knicks trot out to San Antonio. Got a big win tonight over the Miami Heat. We'll talk about them a little bit later as we continue Spurs Live. But again, Steph Castle tonight turned it around in the second half after picking up those 3 early fouls. 17 of his 23, 3 of them right here in the second half. More Spurs Live when we continue after this. The Lakers in this one-game trip of the makeup game from the game that was canceled due to the fires back in January. Dan Weiss back here, courtside at Crypto.com Arena. Steph Castle had a big quarter in that game back in January, the last time the Spurs were here. He had a big quarter tonight, 14 in the fourth quarter, part of his 23 in total, 17 of which came in the second half. And Castle tonight, big reason why the Spurs were able to kind of fight their way back from being down by as many as 28 in the second half, got it down to 11 a couple of times there in the fourth quarter before the Lakers eventually pulled away. But there you see Castle's line tonight, 23 points, 8 rebounds in 28 minutes. And again, 17 of those coming in the second half. And take a look at Steph's highlights here tonight. Again, remember, he got into very early foul trouble. 3 first-quarter fouls. He had 6 points in the first half and decided, he was going to find his way into the game some way, somehow, knocked down the three-pointer there in the third quarter. That seemed to get him going, but really when Steph gets going is when he's getting downhill and getting to the foul line, gets a thunderous dunk off a steal by Keldon Johnson there in the fourth quarter. So, again, Steph Castle just continuing to make plays, finding a way to get himself in the game, even with a little bit of adversity that he faced in the first half. And that's good to see from a young first-year player. How do you deal with that adversity? How do you bounce back? And it was nice to see Steph have a good fourth quarter, good second half, help the Spurs make a push there in that fourth quarter to try to get themselves back in the game again before the Lakers eventually pulled away. Devin Vassell, he had a good first half and a good night overall tonight. 3 of his 17. We wrap up Spurs Live right after this.
Mitch, what do you think held you guys back offensively a little bit? Steph had 23 points. Devin had 17, but didn't get that lift from the bench that you've been getting.
Yeah, I think the turnovers, especially in the first half, hurt us tremendously. And it's a double-edged sword. Some of those are 5-point swings where you may have had a bucket or a good look, and then they come down and they're playing with an advantage automatically through the turnover. So that hurt us a lot. And then, some undisciplined fouls, right? So now you're taking the ball to the net. Now you're not getting the advantage going back the other way. And sometimes when that happens, it feels like the court's slanted the wrong way, and you're running downhill to get back on defense. You're running uphill to try to get advantage on offense. And those two things hurt us tremendously early on.
What do you think Steph got from guarding Luka, those early fouls? What do you think he got from that education-wise?
Yeah, I mean, he's a very, very advanced, elite, cerebral basketball player, as we know. I thought the second one was tough. I thought there was no advantage gained. He jumped. He stopped. And Steph was right there with his hands up. I was a little disappointed in that call. And thought, again, it's hard for a younger player when they get in those spots. Then the next one was just an incidental trip. But to continue their aggressiveness and their competitive, because they're not trying to get the next foul, I thought he did a better job just playing. Just play and don't worry about it. And if you foul out, screw it. But I don't think we've had many guys foul out this year. So just need to continue to play through it.
With his shots, most of them weren't falling in the first half, but able to get in the second. What did you see him be able to do to kind of adjust?
I'm sorry.
With Stefan's shots, most of them weren't falling in the first half, but in the second half, different story.
Yeah, I think he was just relentless on getting to the paint. He got some stuff at the rim, got some fouls, and a lot of times, again, when you're missing some shots, the rim and the free throw line can be your best friend, and he did a good job doing that. And then next thing you know, you get a couple of rhythm jump shots, and they go in.
Like that aggressiveness from Jeremy, in terms of mixing it up with guys and his chippy play for.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see all of it. I thought it was a bump with the basketball throw and some macho stuff that was really nothing. I thought they could have called a double tech and move on. I didn't think they needed to be ejected, but maybe they wanted to de-escalate the situation. But I was happy with the fight, the competitiveness, and the fight mentality, but the competitiveness in the second half, I thought we did a good job. I thought Blake Wesley was really good. And that's how we have to play, and that's part of our identity that we want to grow. But with this group that we have currently right now, we have to play like that.
So I'd say about Blake that, despite sitting so many games, he's always upbeat on the bench, and then he comes in late in the season here, and he's trying his best to contribute.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a lot since early on in the season. We understand the frustration. Everybody wants to play. We want to play everybody. But you kind of have to work while you wait. And he's done that, and he's been chomping at the bit. And it's been fun to see him have an opportunity to get out there and mix it up and show all the work he's been putting in.
Mitch Johnson with some silver linings from tonight's game as the Spurs fall here in L.A. on this one-game trip. And now they get to head back home. A couple of games at the Frost Bank Center coming up here later on this week. Wednesday night against the Knicks and Friday night against the Sixers. Let's focus on the Knicks game. Knicks coming to town after a win tonight. They're 43rd of the year against Miami. And that clinches at least a play-in tournament spot for them. They had 28 from Mikal Bridges in this one here tonight. He had a game winner against Portland in overtime last week. So no Jalen Brunson, who's out with an injury right now, but Bridges and the rest of the Knicks will be in town on Wednesday night. Don't forget that is in honor of Women's International History Month. That will be our all-female pregame show led by Madison Huck with our all-female panel on our telecast right here at FanDuel Sports Network coming up on Wednesday night, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock tip time right here on FanDuel Sports Network. Tonight, Spurs had 5 in double figures. Steph Castle with 23, 17 in the second half, 17 for Devin Vassell. But the Laker combination of Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic combined for 51. The Lakers win it 125-109. Now, for Jake and Toby, Sean Elliott, our entire crew, I'm Dan Weiss saying so long. We'll talk to you Wednesday night back at the Frost Bank Center. Have a great night, everybody.